Hey, listen.
Hi guys, so this is us actually driving to the airport the first time, having absolutely no idea that we were about to get turned away. So short story, basically we got to the airport and we did not have visas before because we've always applied for visa on arrival in Kenya, and apparently they don't do that anymore. So we had to go back home and go and redo the visa. So yeah, this is where everything went left. But on the bright side, we went back the next day and this is us after we got our visa, and then the trip finally commenced. I mean, it kind of sucks because it took away like one day from our trip, but yeah, we were still just glad to be able to like make it. That's me being funny. I look like I have it. Oh, the salad is actually spicy. Huh? Yep.
Sexy, my love. Don't miss this roll call. Is you here or what? Show up, show up, show up, show up. You Mr. Nasty. I'll clean it up. Go where nobody's been. Go where nobody's been. Have you ever had fun like this? Ever had fun? I wanna go missing. I need a prescription. I wanna go higher. Gonna sit on top of you.
So here we made it on to the second leg of the flight. Yay. This was the flight from New York to Paris, and right here is just the menu. Honestly, I feel like the food was pretty good on this flight considering it's like airplane food, and they had, I believe, 3 choices for entrees. Everybody's dinner options was the same, I believe, and then also I think the wine menu was actually pretty good. They had quite a few options for like all the different kinds of wine. I pretty much ended up just drinking champagne most of this flight just because I didn't want to feel sick, so I didn't want to like mix different things. So I just, yeah, kind of stuck to the same thing, and that was it. But yeah, right here is just like their wine selection. You guys can see they have quite a few options, and this was the flight where a piece of the plane fell on my daughter, but I'll tell you guys at the end of this video that story. Right here is just like a little seat, and it was like this little compartment that had the toiletry bag as well as the headphones for the flight. I actually really like this toiletry bag. I mean, it wasn't like exceptional. I ended up using the toothbrush and toothpaste, and that was pretty much it. I brought my own skincare on the flight, and this is right before dinner, and yeah. This is me smiling because I knew they turned on the lights because we were about to get dinner. And honestly, I was like kind of hungry because I didn't eat much at the lounge before, and they kind of had mostly just like snacks. Those little cheese biscuits that I just showed you guys were really, really good. This was actually the appetizer, which this came and I was like, this is the appetizer, but yeah, this is like the actual appetizer before the main meal. I didn't eat too much of this just because I didn't want to get so full, so I mostly just ate like the salad and the cheese because I wanted to like leave space for dinner, which I was really excited about because I wanted to see if it was like good. The appetizers honestly were okay. The salmon was kind of like smoked. I wish it had more, I don't know, moisture and seasoning, but it was honestly okay. Again, it's like airplane food. I feel like my standard for airplane food is not as high as it normally would be at a regular restaurant. So this is me messing up this salad, and in this clip after, you guys, I was eating the bread on this plane, and I kid you not, like I love bread just in general, but this bread, even when it was like really, really hard, it was so good, and I was chewing this bread hard as hell, but it was really good. So if you see me chewing bread like I haven't eaten in 3 days, just know it was because it was really hard. And this is me telling my husband, Chelsea, come on now. That's like, at this time, it was like my new favorite thing to say because, you know, TikTok. But, yeah, I'm going to finish eating the rest of this hard bread while I waited for the dinner, which is right here. Honestly, I don't know what I expected the chicken to look like, but not like this. However, it tasted really, really good, you guys. It tasted much better than it looked. It was chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. This right here is actually our flight from Paris to Nairobi. And of course, I stopped at the Chanel store because did you really transit through Paris if you don't stop at the Chanel store? But I was just finally reading my book, which I wanted to finish before this trip ended. I didn't. And the cover looks like that because I managed to pour the baby's milk all over it. But this was our meal, which was lunch on that last flight. And it was also really, really good. And this is us at the Nairobi airport the day we actually picked up the luggage. I didn't vlog the other day that we actually arrived because we were very stressed. And also, you're not really allowed to vlog at the airport. So, yeah. So this is Allison from the future, or basically Allison in the present. So we're back in Dallas now, but I wanted to add this story time towards the end, just because I felt like it was relevant to this video. So I don't want to say Air France ruined our trip, but they kind of did. So the problem actually started the day we got turned away from our flight, like the first day we were supposed to initially fly. And then we got denied for the visas, like I previously mentioned. That's no fault of theirs. However, the flight that we were rebooked on the next day, only had an hour and a 15-minute layover, which sounded like a lot because I mean, like, our bags were already checked and stuff, so we didn't know any better. We got to JFK and it's JFK, but so we actually had somebody put us through to the front of the line, and we still missed our connecting flight to Paris by like 3 minutes, and they were like, yeah, the gate is already closed, we cannot reopen it for you, yada yada yada, you know how it goes. So they told us to go to another gate because they had another flight leaving to Paris in I think 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And so we go over to that gate, and I met one of the rudest people I have ever met at an airport, and she worked for Air France, and she was basically like, oh, we don't have any more seats in business, you're gonna have to downgrade to economy. And I was like, okay, except we intentionally booked those flights that way for a reason, because it was the first time we were traveling with a toddler for such a long flight, and those flights can get very exhausting even for me as an adult. So we just wanted to be able to lay down, and especially for her to be able to just lie flat, and so like she could take naps and, you know, whatever, like things we wouldn't have been able to do in economy, right? And she basically did not understand why I did not want to change seats, because, and she was like, well, you missed your flight. In my head, I'm like, that's no fault of ours because it was a connecting flight. We had no control over the other flight being delayed 30 minutes, like our flight from Dallas going to New York. But anyways, long story short, somebody else came by, and it was another guy, and he ended up opening up like 2 more seats for us, and he was able to get us booked onto the next flight. On that flight from New York to Paris, I kid you not, like, me and my daughter were laying down in the seat, and then I reached my hand over to give her a hug, and I felt like something hard over the top of her body. So it was dark on the plane at this point because everybody was sleeping. So I turned on the light, and there's like a piece of the seat, I guess, that kind of like, I don't know, the glue came off. I don't know what happened. It came off, and it was just like laying on top of her. I mean, she didn't wake up or anything, but in my head I'm thinking like, you guys have pieces of the plane falling off on people. I let the flight attendant know, and basically she was like, yeah, maybe it even came off like on the previous flight and the person didn't mention whatever, my apologies, and that was that. And then the worst part of this trip, when we got to Nairobi, none of our 7 checked bags were there. So we had a lot of luggage. We are first-time parents traveling internationally for the first time with a kid. So of course we overpacked everything that we thought that we would need for the baby, right? All I'm thinking about is, oh my goodness, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this with none of our toddler stuff. And the worst part of it all was basically the communication from Air France was terrible. And so I go online and I'm looking up like lost luggage for Air France, and I'm reading all these horror stories of people that just never got their bags back. Some people got them back after 2 months. Some people got them back like after weeks. And I was panicking. Like, I was so stressed I did not even sleep that night. Well, for like a couple of nights. And basically for them, they were just like, well, we don't know where your bags are. I got more help from Delta because our flight from Dallas to New York was a Delta flight. I got more help from Delta than I did Air France, who was like the airline that we booked our ticket with. So I felt like they should have been a little bit more helpful than, we don't know where your bags are, we're going to try to locate them. And that went on for 4 days. And even the day that we got our bags, Air France had no idea where the bags were. The only way we got our bags was because my mother-in-law knew somebody that knew somebody with connections, and they were able to get our bags. I think they were stuck in New York, and they were able to put them on a flight through Kenya Airways, and we got our bags 4 days later. And that was... Okay, so before I was rudely interrupted by my dog, I was saying, so we basically had a trip to Zambia that same week. I think we were traveling like 5 days after we arrived in Nairobi. We spent the first 4 days of our trip hunting down our baggage, and we actually did not end up doing a lot really, like other than just like getting food to go, because we didn't have any of our clothes. I was literally wearing my mother-in-law's clothes because yeah, it was a lot going on, and basically I was too stressed to do anything, so I feel like we didn't really enjoy that first week that we were over there. But we got our bags, and I was able to get more footage of our trip whenever we were in Zambia, because obviously things were a little bit better. But yeah, if you made it through to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the other vlog. I'm already editing that vlog, so you guys will see that vlog soon. So yeah, see you in my next video. Bye.